I'm also a neighbor. I live in the Sunny Hill neighborhood.
Oh, do you? What street are you on?
I'm on Cherry Crest Drive. My backyard looks out to the mall's historic farmhouse, the Sunny Hill farmhouse. So
Your backyard does.
yeah, so I'm in the
Okay.
newer development in my backyard, like
Yeah.
from my kitchen window, I look out to the farmhouse.
Okay. Are you the house right next door to it?
Yes,
Okay,
yes,
got it.
on one side and the other, but yeah, I'm
Yeah,
on.
right. Okay. Yeah, I'm on Ivy Court.
Okay. Oh yeah. I
Yeah.
you may see me after this. I've been trying to be really good about giving my I call him my puppy, but he's almost 11 years old. My dog
Murphy.
Murphy, his sniff walks.
What kind of dog is that, Mary Kay?
Oh, he's a Labradoodle, like all the other Labradoodles in our neighborhood.
But
That's
he but
great.
he Murphy is the best dog ever.
Yeah.
Okay. That's
He's
One
got a
great.
lot of
more, we have a
personality,
quorum.
but he's getting older, so I'm trying to be really
Yeah.
kind on his what
Mhm.
we do a walk around the block and it will take us good 25 minutes.
Sure. I get it. I just lost a 17-year-old Maltipoo, but
Um,
17 years is a long time. He did really well.
yeah,
That
for
We were
is a
lucky.
long time. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I'm so
Yeah. It's
sorry.
rough. All the things that you would normally do with a dog, like you go to the beach, the dog runs on the beach, those moments you think, oh, I'm missing my dog.
We
It's
had
hard when you go to zero dogs, right? When you're used to having them.
we had Sarah, our old dog, and she lived to 16, but yeah, for like months I would have these I called them phantom feelings. Like I'd be out and about and all of a sudden I'd be like, oh shoot, I gotta get home and let Sarah out. Oh no, I don't.
Yep,
I
I
mean,
know what you
it's been almost 2 years now with Belle, and I still do that. It's like, wait,
Bella's gone.
yeah,
Oh, sorry.
yeah, a year ago, October.
Oh. We run into each other walking our puppies.
Oh, that's great.
So it
That's
looks like
great.
we have a quorum.
We have a quorum now.
Hey,
Awesome. And hi Cyrus, Rob, hello.
Hi, everyone.
4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah. So most of everybody on this call knows I'm Carrie Love. Chris Durkee, our chair, is traveling on the coast of California. So I am opening up the meeting and getting it started, but really I'm going to be passing the mic over to Jenny. Thank you, Jenny, for arranging this presentation, and I'll let you take it from there. And then Meg, why don't we do all of this and then we'll go into the official business that we need to capture on minutes. Does that sound okay?
Yep, it certainly does.
Okay.
Thank you. Well, we're really honored today to have Mary Kay Larson on the call. She's the Executive Director of Communications for the Lake Oswego School District. And then Anthony Vandenberg, I just call him Bond Man because he does it all bonds. So I know, Anthony, your official title is, I'm sure it's the executives, some big director, manager of bonds, but I'm just
It's
gonna,
really long, yeah.
okay. But they're here today to talk about the third and final bond for the school district, and they are going to help us learn more about this bond so we can help promote it and believe in it and share it with our neighbors and understand the importance of why we should all vote yes on this bond. But today, as a Palisades Neighborhood Association, we're going to listen, we're going to learn, and then at our next neighborhood association meeting, we'll have our discussion and decide how the Palisades Neighborhood Association, what position we will be taking on this bond. So I will pass it to Mary Kay. Thank you.
Great, thank you. I have a slide presentation. Let me see if I can share it here.
Should be able to.
Looks like I can share. Oh, you can hear Murphy down there. He wants to share too. Hold on. Slideshow. There we go. So yeah, thank you, Jenny, for that introduction. I think many of you were on the call. Tony and I were able to join your meeting in January, where we provided an update on the progress of our first two bond phases, the one that voters passed in 2017 and then the second phase, which voters passed in 2021. We are also able to give an update on the development of this third phase, because at that point, it was with the Bond Development Committee being contemplated, and it hadn't yet gone in front of the board. And so today we are very excited to share with you the results of their work and a lot of voter polling and community outreach and feedback from all of you that you gave when we were here in January. And so with that, we'll go into what we're proposing. We are proposing a bond measure, a measure number 3628. It will be on this November ballot. A key point to remember in this bond is that it does maintain our current estimated tax rate for LOSD voters. And the reason why we're able to do that is that the bond that voters passed in 2000, that was the bond that built Lake Oswego High, or rebuilt Lake Oswego High School, and also made significant additions to Lake Ridge High School, including the auditorium and a lot of extra things. That bond will be paid off in 2026 in time for, should this bond pass, this bond would take its place on our tax bills. This is the final phase of a long-term plan that started over a decade ago to improve our schools. And when the board and the district contemplated it over a decade ago, they did look at 3 phases, knowing that the first 2 phases would be a slight tax increase, but then with this third phase, it would maintain our current tax rate and keep us at where we are today. So without further ado, I'm gonna let Tony do the really fun stuff and tell us what with this bond fund.
Thank you, Mary Kay. Of course, this third bond, one of the things that we're looking at is maintaining our infrastructure. So there's a lot of equipment in our buildings that is beginning to get to the age where we need to be replacing things. Some of the mechanical equipment is inefficient, beyond repair, or we're unable to repair some of the equipment. One example that we like to share is regarding our fire alarm systems, where we're having to source some of the equipment to replace parts from eBay. Last time we ended up getting something from England for a system that we no longer have and can support. Improving health, safety, and security at our schools. This is an ongoing process. So we have security cameras. We have hardened perimeters for our schools. Some of these things that we hear about, we don't want to think about too much, but it is reality that we need to maintain and continue to deploy in our schools. We need to replace two of our oldest schools. So Lake Grove and Forest Hills are built in the 40s. They are beyond repair at this point. The buildings need to be replaced. They're not able to support our education in the schools, as well as some of the systems in the schools are just not able to be repaired or modernized at this point. So we're working towards that end as well. Finally, some of the really fun stuff, our ongoing programs, the things that make Lake Oswego School District great. We're expanding learning spaces. So our 2 high schools will get brand new, large STEM CTE classroom spaces, large flexible spaces that can host a lot of hands-on learning, a lot of really great dynamic ways to teach our kids and prepare them for college and for careers, as well as Palisades World Language School, which continues to grow, will also receive an addition. The school continues to be successful in drawing students from across the district. We've done a number of really large remodels over the course of a couple of summers that you all are probably aware of. Now it's time to expand this school and make sure that we're ready for the school to continue its growth and support some of the spaces that it doesn't currently have. Finally, our community transition program, which is currently located at Lake Oswego High School, needs a home, and not just a home, but actually kind of a home These are for our adult learners that require a space that can teach them adult skills and get them into the workforce. We will be looking at purchasing real estate that will help support this program. I
Right.
probably missed a few things, Mary Kay, but how
Yeah.
was that?
It was a great overview, and we can always tackle some more things and questions if people have them. So, what would this bond cost? So, as I mentioned, it does maintain our tax rate, but we are able, should the bond pass, to provide 245 million in funding for capital improvements, all the things that Tony talked about. One thing that's really important to clarify is that legally, bonds can only be used to pay for buildings. It cannot be used to pay for daily operation expenses like salaries and curriculum and utilities. It can only be used for significant capital improvements. With this, it would maintain our estimated current tax rate of $2.90 per thousand of assessed property value. Here in Lake Oswego, the median assessed valued home is 400, and I want to make sure I get this correct, 460,000. And just to clarify, market value is what you could sell, put your house on the market and sell it for. So in Lake Oswego, it's about a 2-to-1 ratio. So the median home is about $900,000 for market value. So at assessed value, that's 460,000. And so for a median home at 460,000, it would come out to about $420 a year, which is our total tax rate. That's the 290 includes the first two phases.
Did you want to listen to the, they're talking about the bond that they want in November.
Meg, we can hear you. So yeah, so hopefully she said yes, she wants to listen to it. But 290 is comes out to about 420 on our taxes. And as I mentioned before, that is not a tax increase, that just means our current tax rate. One of the other wonderful things about our bond program that was started over a decade ago was the citizen oversight and board oversight in all things bond. So we have a citizen-led bond accountability committee. They review quarterly audits and quarterly expenditure reports. These people are experts in construction and school construction and construction finance and legalities. And Tony meets with them quarterly, and they make sure that all bond funds are being used as voters approved them. And then obviously following all compliance program objectives and the state law, and the school board, the elected school board monitors all of it. Our polling shows very strong support for this bond in our community, which is not surprising. Our community has always shown strong values for education, and shows, and we hear all the time how our residents and our families move here for the schools, and they want children to learn in schools that are safe, updated, and designed for the future. And that's exactly what this bond is about. So we do have a website that has a lot more details, FAQ, frequently asked questions. You can get a very detailed list of what would happen at every school. So I encourage you to go on the website and get that information. But we are here today, and we have Tony's expertise. So we'd love to open it up for any questions that people may have. And I will share this presentation. I know I can send it to Jenny, and she can get it to the right people.
A question.
I have a question. Oh, John, do you want to go first?
Yeah.
No, I'm just curious, when you were saying you're replacing the schools, what kind of time frame are we talking about?
Yes, very good question. So we would be starting the first school immediately on completion of the Lake Oswego Middle School, which will be completed this spring. They'll be moving into the new school over the summer. So it would be the summer of 26 that we would start the first school if all things go according to plan. Of course, we need to pass a bond first. but we are working toward that end. So we've actually started some design work, and we've started some of the upfront work and site investigation, surveys, and things like that at both of the schools that are positioned to be replaced. And we would be hoping to move into construction almost seamlessly after completion of the Lake Oswego Middle School and passage of the bond.
And so how long are we talking before it's completed?
Each project will take about 2 years. We would ideally do those back to back. So we're looking at 2 to 5 years in the entirety for the process
Okay,
for both of the schools to be replaced. And in between that, we would also be working on additions for the high schools, as well as enhancements for all of our schools across the district.
thank you.
Okay,
Um,
so my question, last time we met, we discussed the operations budget. And once we put in new things, whether it be a new school or a new science classroom, how do you take care of it over time? Tony, can you comment on the operational budget, and are you able to keep up with maintenance on all the schools that we already have remade?
Nancy, that is a fantastic question. We do see, and we already are seeing some improvements on our operational budget with regards to replacing broken equipment. So not having to replace equipment that is failing, which is a large dollar sign. We're now maintaining equipment. So we're going more into a preventative maintenance program rather than a knee-jerk reaction, fix the thing that is actually broken at this time. It's a much better way for us to operate. It's much more uh, foreseeable. So we're planning schedules, we're budgeting accordingly. Our systems do come with costs. So we just installed a lot of HVAC equipment in a lot of our elementary schools this summer. There will be costs to maintain that. However, we do have a lot of newer equipment in our schools that will last a very, very long time.
Thank you.
Meg, you're next.
Yeah, and I just had a couple, one kind of dovetails onto that. I remember looking at the River Grove School. I mean, that school is amazing. And have you compared the operational cost of River Grove now as it was before? So are you seeing any cost savings that way?
We are. It is a larger school with a larger footprint, much more square footage. However, we see a slight increase in the electricity cost. However, we see zero cost with regards to natural gas. We're no longer bringing natural gas to that building. It's 100% electric, which is how we've kind of proceeded with all of our schools. Our new construction will be 100% electric, and we see great savings with all of those systems. The buildings that we're building now are incredibly efficient. So when we put in these new systems, not only are the systems efficient and capable of heating and cooling the spaces, we're also relying on the building envelope and the building mass to keep the building comfortable throughout the day. So it takes a lot less to heat, a lot less to cool. Everything in the building is LED as far as lighting goes. And again, you can see these things as you walk through the building. You can see a photovoltaic array up on the roof that provides power to the building as well as part of our resilience package. The buildings are built to withstand major seismic event, so they won't topple. We're protecting our investments here in the community.
Cool. And then the other, at one point you were talking about selling off a portion of the Lake Grove School. Is that still on the table, or are you going to keep the whole footprint?
Right now, we know that we're replacing the school at the existing site. The existing site, when combined with our old transportation facility, which is directly adjacent, as well as our facilities operations property, which is also directly adjacent, combined, this is the largest elementary school in the district. So we are looking at opportunities. The school will be replaced at its existing site. We haven't started designing that site yet. We're just getting into survey for that site. Once we do, we'll look at opportunities, whether or not there's an opportunity to not necessarily sell. We don't plan on selling property, but property for use for a different purpose potentially.
No.
Just to
Cool. Thank
clarify
you.
on that the school would likely be depending on once they get into design, pushed back into the neighborhood, which would leave some property available along Boone's Ferry for leasing.
Right.
Rob?
Yeah, thanks. I want to ask a question similarly as we're looking at the total revenue coming into the school district, and we're saying, you know, this is really important to pass the bond to fund the projects. And there was some other questions like asking, you know, what about other revenue sources? What happens with that? So this issue has come up in Palisades neighborhood is the issue with the cell towers. And it was published that the school board is actually reconsidering potentially the position of allowing the cell towers on school property. But I assume that's a meaningful income, you know, revenue for the school district. How does that compare with the bond? And just, you know, I'm not sure all the residents of Palisade feel like that's the right decision to take that away for many reasons. But how does it fit in from the overall revenue picture if those would go away?
Yeah, that's a good question, Robert. And I don't have the exact numbers in front of me. It's not an insignificant number as far as the rent that is paid to the district for the usage of the property. The most important thing for us is to make sure that folks around us, our students, our community are safe. So the school board is looking at this. They're very serious about our next steps, and we want to make sure that we're being safe with who we're working with on our sites. So I would say that we would be able to adjust with or without, but it certainly is an income stream that comes to the district for the use of those the cell towers on our properties. And you know, just to like one other component to that, our first responders rely on cell towers. So there is an importance. They do need to go somewhere. They are used and they are important. So just to an acknowledgement to that.
Yeah, totally agree. And I don't want to kind of go into a deep dive on the cell towers, but I'd also say, you know, just from a safety perspective, that's what we don't understand is like the FCCs came out and said, you know, those safety arguments don't apply, whatever, because there's been no proof behind that. So they can't even be considered in court. But we hear that all the time. Safe, and I think I'm not sure. I'm assuming that the safety argument is related to, you know, like SAR, specific absorption rates, and just the fact that the towers are radiating power. But for those that have studied it, doesn't make any sense. And yeah, we want to fund our schools, but taking away revenue sources like that, you know, it's hard to understand why we're passing bonds at the same way taking away other, you know, other current streams like the rental stream for that. So yeah, thank you.
I have a question in chat from RJ Cook. What is the estimate of maintenance on the new swimming pool be for the Lake Oswego School District? I'm not sure if you have those numbers or not, but.
I should have known this would come, but what I can tell you is that it is comparable to our operating costs, but probably a bit less than we paid for our pool, less the ongoing maintenance fee. So just the subsidy for operating that we pay to the city of Lake Oswego following the construction and now operational. Of course, it will be reviewed annually, but it's comparable to what we paid for our existing school as far as having a pool.
Yeah, that would be interesting to have those numbers. Anybody else have any other questions? I do not see any other questions in the chat. But does any other?
Actually, I do have one more question. Parking at the high school. Is there any chance we're going to be able to expand the amount of parking spaces at the high school? I'm looking specifically at the rec center. I noticed that the city has put up, you know, no Lake Ridge students parking there. But is there any way that it can be worked out so that the Lake Ridge students could actually park at the rec center during the day?
It's not likely.
Because it's kind of frustrating from our point of view. We
Yeah.
can't keep them off our streets, but the city can keep them out of their parking lot.
Yeah, and Meg, I know that we have talked many times about this. We continue to work on creating efficiency with the way that folks are parking at the high school. And it seems like there's this pattern where we have an influx of new licenses and brand new flashy cars that like to park at our schools, and suddenly they're full again and they're all over the street.
Yeah.
I hope
Yeah.
that the sidewalks help a little bit, not only from a safety perspective, but
Well,
keeping them off of both sides.
from our point of view, there's less parking now on Meadowlark and Treetop, which we needed the parking lot, but the kids need to park somewhere. So I'm going to work more with the city as
Yeah.
far as their
And I
as their
encourage you to
thing.
work with me on that as well.
Yeah,
I
and
have
you've been
had,
great on this whole thing.
thank you. And I've had a number of conversations with them. I know the next step they were planning on taking was to look at kind of like a more global approach or more citywide with
Yeah.
a larger radius around the high school as to where parking is allowed or not, and then take another look at where they should have no parking
Correct.
throughout the days.
I think
So
that's
that'll be a nice
almost
big
like
step.
another issue, like
Yeah.
what are our
Yeah.
safe routes to school? And, kids who live within a mile, they really should be walking. Like I
Well,
see the cars and there you go. I should more kids on bikes and walking that are able to do that than driving down the street to park on the street again. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
so I'm sorry.
It's
Whenever I
getting
see
them to do
Tony,
it
I
too.
have to bring it up.
I know. And Rob
Oh, it's
also put his
okay.
hand. Rob put his hand up again. So come on in, Rob.
Yeah, no, Anthony, I reached out as the the kind of transportation kind of liaison for P&A, and I've reached out to Anthony, had these discussions, but I'd like to bring it back to the bond view. And so it's a similar type of thing. I think Meg is really hitting on something there, is that, a couple things with that is one, yeah, you look at it globally and you say, is the available parking really being utilized? And, at the rec center, I see plenty of empty spaces there. And then I also got some feedback to say, hey, why aren't we taking advantage of this? If there's empty spaces, why can't the school district use that? And, in many cities, I know we talked about in Northern Illinois and Wisconsin, we had that, and the students would buy, rental spaces or whatever. They would actually pay for that. So again, that could be an opportunity to create revenue. If those spaces are actually unused at the rec center, lease them out or whatever and help pay for some of the revenue things that are important to the school district. I hope that would be considered. But I agree with Megan, or it's an opportunity that we should look at.
Absolutely. I think it's a great idea. And, right now the city is trying to get into their space and actually try to normalize the operation. So it's certainly this first summer and now getting into the fall with all of our students coming back, there's a lot of learning curves that they're working through. So it might be something that we can approach, sometime this year and at least get it on the table, see where it goes from there.
Awesome. Any other questions before we let these representatives go?
and if anyone thinks of something, just email us and then we'll pass it on to Mary Kay and Anthony. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you all for having us. And I know we kind of veered into other topics and, thanks for hearing us out on the bond, but we're always willing to come and talk about anything of concern related to the schools. So thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, let's move forward with our regular business. And we'll go quickly. I just want to do a time check. It's 7:26. So before we dive in, I'm making a motion to approve August meeting minutes. Do I have a second?
Second.
Rob seconds it for Meg taking notes. Can I call for a vote on the approval of August meeting minutes? Show of hands. All in favor, all opposed? Okay, great. Everybody said yes, Meg. Okay, thank you so much. And then I'm going to first do an update that Chris provided for me. Meg, I'm assuming that you were able to do attendance while we were in the presentation, but if not, I'll ask again if you need time to do that. But again, just reiterating some things you've heard. We have open seats in 6 and 13. We had a lot of signups in 13 after the flyer went out for National Night Out that we executed with the city. So we do have a lot of new interest in that area. And I think some of it is just houses turning over. I know Oscar, who's 14, had 3 friends leave, and 2 of them were from that area. So I think it's just natural. So Chris and I talk about it, and there may just be some other conversations on how we can reach out to that area. And then in October, our next meeting, we're going to have the backyard habitat representative in for our presentation. As far as I know, we have nobody slotted yet for November, and in the past we have taken a break in December. So we may have a presentation slot available in November. And again, we did put the requirements for presentation, presenting to PNA on our website, so we can reference that and share it. I do
Can I
have,
just,
oh, go
can I
ahead.
just add something? Tryon Creek is teaching a class on backyard habitat. I want to say the 27th of September. I might be off on the date a little bit. So if you're looking for contacts, Tryon Creek it's in the hello.
I'll look for that and I'll do a post for it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, because I'm thinking of going. So
Okay.
it's at Tryon Creek.
And they have a tour every year of backyard habitats. I think it's usually in the spring, and it's a good tour.
Okay. So I do have a South Shore Fire Station Task Force update. The architect is on board, and it is a Portland firm. They have done at least 2 or 3 other fire stations in our area in Clackamas County, Oregon City. Actually, yeah, and we more than a few. I think there's several that they have in their portfolio. They're talking to a builder as well, also a Portland firm. And then, just general talking points for the community. If you have any questions, is all our firefighters are paramedics, cardiac arrest calls, 2 engine teams respond. And because of that, we have a recovery rate twice the national average. So lots of interesting things happening right now. The bond is potentially going on the ballot in May of 2026, although that is not official. That's what's being discussed at this point. So that is the update. That is the update that I have from Chris. We did do Chris did testify in front of the city council on 20 is plenty. It did pass 5-2. They are moving forward with that. We're going to become a resource for our areas. And really, Chris made a point over and over again that we would like for that to be focused on roads that do not have sidewalks first in the Palisade neighborhood, and then other areas that they've included as well. So and they seemed really receptive to that. So at this point, if there's no questions, then John, I'll have you do the treasury report. Any questions? Awesome, John.
Gary, one question.
Yeah.
Any question? We can ask any question.
Yeah. Any question?
Open. So I was just wondering if Chris gave any updates on what's happening with the Azalea living development, the Stafford project. And when it went to development review, they said they were going to break ground in the summer, and then construction would start here in the fall. But I think there was some concern about how funded that project was, and we've seen the fences go up, and there's uh, kind of the things are growing around it, whatever. But the maintenance is a concern. I'm just wondering, have we heard anything about, is that really, budgeted and moving ahead? Is it on solid ground?
Meg, do you want to comment on the land use?
Yeah, I can comment just a little bit on that. I'd just been speaking, I ran into Ken Allen at some event, and one of the issues that they're having is with the middle housing as far as definitions. He's kind of going back and forth with one of the examples that he used was on the cottage clusters, the cottages. On the single level ones, they have a maximum 900 square feet. Well, the way that the city planners or planners are interpreting the 200-foot front porch as being included in that 900 square foot maximum. And he's like, no, 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 the porch is not part of it, because that would only leave him, if he has a 200 square foot porch, that would only leave him a 700 foot for the cottage. And that's just not going to be viable for him. So he's going back and forth with the city as far as how they're interpreting. And so, and I don't know whether that's been resolved or not.
Yeah, but I guess the question is really about funding. You know, that was a concern.
Yeah.
It was brought up by residents, and the ability to maintain the property is the other concern, especially if it's not funded. So I'm wondering if
I
some
mean,
way we might
as
be able
far
to talk to them about that.
as far as I know, it's the financing is there.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know where some people are getting their information. I don't know.
I think some of it's just from the state of the property itself. Like I
I
said,
think
it's being maintained. Yeah.
I think that's more than anything. I know
Yeah.
that Ken tends to be very close to the chest as far as his financing, and it's
Yeah.
really not our business.
But the maintenance is, of course,
but-
if it's not
Well,
being maintained, and that's the issue. Yeah.
Well, so the
Yeah,
question I have is, if it's not being maintained to code, then I would contact code enforcement and say, you need to maintain your property. I think that's separate then from the whole project itself.
Yeah, and Rob, so we're gonna make notes of your comments and questions, and we will reach out. I mean,
Sure.
Yeah.
and we'll have a response in October for you, if not sooner, via email.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah, I think the residents are concerned, and certainly you can do that. But you know, we're just concerned that you wouldn't want the situation where you're continually going after and having to chase that. It's not the type of project that we wanted.
No, I understand. Okay, so I put that on my notes too to follow up. Okay, so John, treasurer.
Okay, so our current balance in our Home Street bank account is $341.42. We've got some pending reimbursements out there for web hosting fees and project management fees that are comes to $98.88. There's a $100 minimum for submitting reimbursement requests to the city. So once additional receipts have been submitted, I'll submit them for reimbursement. Home Street Bank is merging with Mechanics Bank. And so I'm just going to provide you some information that's posted on the Home Street Bank website. They're saying it's bank as usual. Your day-to-day banking remains unchanged for now as we work to integrate our organizations. There are no changes to your accounts or services. You'll continue to be greeted by the same familiar faces at the same convenient locations. Accounts transition early next year. So in the first quarter of 2026, we expect to begin integrating our two banking systems, which may result in changes to your accounts in our current products and service offerings. We're confident that any changes will provide access to even more banking and financial solutions to help you achieve your goals, as well as enhance your online and mobile banking experience.
Okay, and just for our visitors we have a savings account there, is that correct?
Yes, we have
In the project management fee that we're paying is for Basecamp?
correct.
Yeah. So Basecamp, and then the website hosting is for
Sage Blue.
Okay, great.
Sage Blue. And
Thank
so
you. Meg, did you get all those numbers? If not, let us know. Thank you, John.
and so one more thing I say this all the time. PNA residents are encouraged to donate to our neighborhood association. For information about projected expenses and how to donate, refer to the Get Involved, I Want to Donate page on the Palisades.neighborhood.org website.
Thank you.
That's my standard wrap at these events. So
Thanks so much. Okay, so now we go into committee reports. We're going to start with David with emergency prep. Hi, David.
Hi there, good evening, and thank you. So yeah, September is Emergency or National Preparedness Month, and so I just wanted to reiterate the post that was in the newsletter from several days ago that Lake Oswego City Hall will have an emergency preparedness fair a week from tonight. So from 5:30 to 7:30, try to make time in your schedule to go downtown and take part in that emergency preparedness fair. There will be lots of different vendors there from various services like Prep LO and fire, and others will have information for us on preparing for emergencies and other natural disasters that can arise. And so it's good to be prepared because not only can emergencies arise, but also sometimes injuries
Yeah,
happen
I was
too.
gonna ask what happened.
So it's better to be prepared than not. And so anyway, take part in that. And again, plan to go downtown. That's the main report from an emergency preparedness side of things tonight.
Is that September 18th? You said a
September
week ago?
18th, a week
Okay,
from
great.
tonight. Yes.
Mhm. Thank you. And then Nancy, you have Parks and Rec, please.
Yes, I posted to Base Camp today. I'm not sure if you all received that. Rasik Park will be complete by the end of September. However, the grand opening event is slated for the 18th of October because the park staff is busy in early October. So it's on the 18th of October. It'd be great if some of the children that we had present for the $1 million grant were present. This is me talking. If they could make that grand opening because it was them asking for this or that in the play space. So I think it'd be a wonderful full circle moment if we could, and I could contact Christy Riley, who brought those kids forward, to see if they can make it. I think it would be a wonderful thing. So the 18th of October is the grand opening celebration. And then Lusher Farm is a big fat package of paperwork going to Clackamas County. I had thought it was submitted, but it's not submitted yet. It's the same thing I talked about a few months ago, where they're just trying to codify the current uses of Lusher Farm into county code. So there's nothing dramatic about the submission, but it's a lot to document. So it's not submitted yet from what Kira was telling me. Will be soon. Will be soon. RJ Cook may know more than I do about that if he's still on.
Nancy, I'm going to reach out to you because they may have vendors at the Rasik Park grand opening, and there's talk of them offering a tent for P&A. So on
Oh, vendors. I didn't know about that.
yeah, well, they're gonna,
Interesting.
yeah, I'll send you what I know, but
Okay. Okay.
and then you and I can coordinate.
Yeah.
Great to have a presence up there.
Yeah,
just because-
everyone's welcome to that October 18th event. I just thought it'd be cool if the same children
Great.
who requested this or that can see it realized.
Well as you and Chris and Kirsty, you guys all worked on that grant that
Yeah,
was
yeah,
really
and we brought children forward to speak for us. They
yeah,
did a great job. Yeah,
awesome.
yeah. So that's all I have.
Okay, thank you. Any questions? If not, we're going to move on to Rob for traffic and pathways.
I didn't have a lot to report. Obviously, we know the construction's going on Meadowlark, and that's a big impact. I know in the mornings, especially with the high school starting, people can't get around there, and they're pouring the concrete. But that's the major activity. On the Rasik Park, I was just going to mention that uh, I've seen a couple of occasions where Stafford Road got backed up in front of Rasik Park there, and I was wondering like what was happening. And interesting enough, from a traffic and a safety perspective, I was unaware that I guess the fire trucks can't and the ambulances can't get back into the parking lot, going down Atherton and going back through there. So what they end up doing is just parking right out on Stafford Road, and the police come and help route traffic around that. In the situations that I saw, which was a concern, and maybe it's a little bit different from traffic, was like in one case, it was like a male about 40 years old that was skateboarding, not wearing a helmet, and you know, they had to come and get them out of there on a stretcher or whatever and bring them out to the road. So it was kind of like shut down for a while. But that whole thing of people getting hurt there is a different story. It's a little bit concerning. But anyway, I just wanted to mention that I was aware of that, that we can look at that. Is there any type of access issue from a safety perspective to Rasique?
But won't that change, Nancy, once the parking lot is open?
Well, there's also an access road. So there's a road just for the city to use. That is it's the side that
Yes.
back is on the border with the new home development. Are you aware
Yeah.
of that access road?
Yeah, correct. It's the
Why
north
wouldn't
side.
they
Usually,
use that?
I don't know. Usually they put those bollards up that, you know, you can
Uh-huh.
unlock and let down and go in.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But I don't know, the fire trucks and the ambulances park out on Stafford and then they bring them out from the skateboard park
that
out to the
doesn't
road.
seem
Well,
right.
the other
Yeah.
thing too is the access. I don't know that once the trucks get in, I don't know how they'll have to back them out. Because I don't see that the access road goes through to the parking lot.
You're right, they would have to back up. Yeah, good
Yeah.
point. I'll ask Kira about that.
Anything
We'll
else?
get back.
Oh, no, that was it. Thanks.
Okay. Meg, you did a little bit of your report from Ken's project.
Yeah.
Do
I
you have
mean, so
anything else for
I
Landon?
don't know anything official on that yet. It's just from a conversation I had with Ken. So it's kind of, I'm thinking that he's working with planning and Rob. I don't know if it's gone to the DRC or anything yet, but I think they're still working through getting to that point. So I don't have very much to say. Not
Well,
been
sure.
pretty quiet this month.
Yeah, that's a good
Any-
point. I was just gonna say I can share the official record documents that I was looking at where you know, it was stated in there by the developer that the construction would start in the summer. And I think it said development would start in the summer and the actual construction of the buildings or homes or whatever would start in the fall. So
But I
I
think
yeah.
they kind of got delayed because they're still working through um their approvals with DRC. I think he had kind of a very optimistic timeline.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Okay. Meg, any other update about the cell towers from Ben and Elise?
No, I know that there was an email from Emily. I wasn't sure if they were going to be here or not. They've kind of reached a dead end as far as the school goes. And I think they're just trying to see what their options are.
Okay, thank you. And then Elisa, would you jump in and do your community health and resilient?
Yes, I'm sorry to be late. Sorry to have
That's okay.
a weird camera thing going on here. I'm on my phone. David's an alternate on the committee too, so he was there with me. We approved our charge statement this evening on the overarching statement that will shape the work we're doing on the committee. I think that was a big achievement for our team as a new advisory board to get that done. So we're really excited about that. The next step is for us to get that approved by the city council, and then we're going to begin bringing in speakers to educate us on the main systems within the city that support community health and emergency response, and that will help shape our plan for the advisory board. And then, did you want me to give a brief update on social media as well? Okay. So I wanted to just provide a little background on Nextdoor for those who might not know. Nextdoor has gone through a transition. They could not get sufficient advertising with their micro neighborhood approach. So when you're on Nextdoor, if you notice, you're getting a lot more like from Sellwood or downtown Portland or Milwaukee. That's because they're doing that to attract advertisers, get broaden the base. But anyway, we are I'm very pleased to say we've started with weekly posts and we have engagement on those posts. So we had engagement on the post that we did on the South Shore project. Thanks to everybody who helped with that. Nancy, thanks for also commenting on that. And we have a current comment on the Rasique Park post that I did. and the individual is asking for information about landscaping that will be added to the second phase. So, Nancy, I was wondering if you could help me out with a response on that one.
We can ask Kara, right?
Great. Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you.
Oh, there, she's unmuted now.
Yeah, sorry, I'm unmuted. I'll just have to find that post. I do look at Nextdoor, but I hadn't seen that one.
Okay, great.
So-
I'll send it to you.
Okay.
I think it's, we showed a picture with construction going on. I pulled the picture
Yeah.
in the newsletter, and I think they're
Yeah.
just wondering like what's the finished look. So I would love that. And appreciate that very much. And I'll just continue to do weekly posts. The other thing that I'm going to do is bring a criteria guidance for the post that I'm going to make, so that we as a committee can decide what we agree is appropriate to be posted there, what's in scope and what's out of scope. And that's
Okay.
that's it for my report. Any questions?
No, but one thought, just Nancy, going back to the grand opening of Rizik, I'm not sure that's a public date yet. I'm not sure they've shared that with everyone. No?
It's a public event, so I don't see any issue
No,
with
no,
sharing it.
just the date, that they haven't settled on the date.
Yeah, it's a settled date.
It is.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I just got something from the budget committee that said they were still trying to figure it out. So that's good.
Okay.
Okay, so on last newsletter and website, we had a great response from the mailing that we did. Again, we partnered with the city for National Night Out. Thank you, David. Thank you, Frederic, who's not here. And then a neighbor of mine that sent photos of National Night Out parties. We did do a post about that kind of as a photo recap. And we will be using that annual event to connect with our neighborhood and with PNA, as well as the city, using the ability to send out a mailer like we do for our general meeting. So that's evolving, and we'll keep on our radar. And then for the website, we've made some changes on how you subscribe. There wasn't a double confirmation on websites, or email addresses coming in and subscribing on our site. So we did get a little bit of junk emails coming in. So now Joe and I have been working in the background to set up a double confirmation, and we're just fine tuning that process. Other than that, we're just plugging along. Any content you folks want to share with me so I can get posts written and up, feel free to do so in Basecamp or email or a text message, any way you want to do it. Just so you know, like there's a big push right before we send out our newsletter the Sunday before our meetings, to just gather all of the info and get as many new posts up as possible. I did take a note about the September 27th habitat or backyard habitat clinic, and I'll go and make that write a post. It's just nice. We're getting great organic search results because we just have all of this information about our neighborhood. So we have lots of people just coming in naturally to our website out in the, Google owns most of that. So that's great to see. So yeah, authentic content. We love it. Okay, we have oh my gosh, we have 9 minutes. We have visitors. I would love to open up the meeting for any comment or questions that our visitors may have, or anything that we didn't discuss that was on someone's list. Nothing. Okay. Wow. Are we going to end early?
I had one more question. I was just wondering if I could
Yeah,
ask.
Rob,
Sorry,
please
not to
jump in.
delay it. I was just wondering what's going on with the P&A signs. Are we getting new signs, new messages, or are we? What are we using for kind of, going forward with the P&A neighborhood signs that we put out?
Sure. So Chris and I just talked about that the last time we met. There was conversation about using our signs to promote the grand opening of Rizik. And then going back to the subscribe message, and then sitting down and making a more like frequent update schedule for February through the next year. I think that there's been a lot going on, so we just put our subscribe message up there for now. But there will be changes coming for sure.
Great.
We
I was
did,
gonna say, I think the idea for like promoting Receipt Park, that would be huge. That's a great idea. So yeah,
especially
hopefully
since,
we can do that. Yeah.
yeah, and before me, you guys did a great job working with the city to make that happen. So it's such a success story for the neighborhood, for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah. And so we're working also to get a sign up at the LORAC with Kara behind the scenes. So we have one there. Or Razik that maybe moves back and forth between Razik and LORAC, and messaging being geared to, Palisades events, subscribe to our newsletter, the usual topics that we've seen. We did silence the training at the fire station, so that was kind of something that we were promoting that we're not doing right now. They're doing it kind of more of across all of the fire stations. So there has been some things that we don't have to promote right now, so that's why it's been kind of stagnant with the subscribe message. And Jenny, I do want to touch base with you about yard signs, and I do see a hand up. RJ Cook, do you have a question?
Just a comment that just want to remind everybody, and I got in a little late, but I didn't hear it. That Stafford Road between the roundabout and basically between both roundabouts is going to open back up on October 1st. Childs Road will still be closed. That's going to be closed for quite a while, and it pretty much goes through the winter, and then this spring they will close Stafford again because they work on the north side. So that's online. If you go to the Stafford, if you just plugged in Stafford Road project, they've got all the dates and all that. But Stafford Road between Rosemont and Rosemont Stafford roundabout all the way down to the river will be open back up again.
Back to the highway, like to the 205?
Yes. But I think there's going to be a lot of flagging going on. So people can get through, but it's not going to be normal.
Thanks for mentioning that Childs is still closed. I don't think I made that clear in my newsletter post.
Yeah.
Well, it hadn't been normal for a while, so we're kind of used to that.
I'm enjoying the heck out of the fact that Stafford Road's been closed.
Okay.
You.
Anyone else? Questions, comments? Okay. Well, thank you so much for being here tonight. Jenny, thank you for arranging that presentation. And Meg, I'll just reach out to you about minutes so we can get those reviewed and approved for the
Cool.
next meeting.
I'll
Okay.
probably be working that later tonight.
Good night, everybody. Thank you so much.
Carrie, did you want me to stay on for a minute
Yeah,
to
I
ask
have
your
some thoughts,
questions?
if you
Thank
don't
you,
mind.
Carrie.
Yeah, no worries.
Bye.
Bye,
Bye.
everyone.
Bye, everybody. Good night.
Good night.